Staying prepared for wildfires to start at any moment.
Preparedness ahead of time, connecting with your resources, understanding what your risk is.
Crews on standby from the ground and the air.
Those screens are tied to the retardant delivery system.
Closely monitoring the impacts on our climate.
The temperatures are increasing in the watershed.
Tonight, how to make sure your home is safe.
Tempered windows, so 2 layers of tempered glass is what's recommended.
And what you might need if a fire burns close.
Who should have a go bag ready to go at home or in their car?
In a KCRA 3 Wildfire Ready special.
July is coming to an end, and California has already seen thousands of wildfires this year. I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman.
And I'm meteorologist Tamara Berg. Tonight we have stories from across Northern California about how to protect your family in case of a fire, plus the latest technology fire crews are using to stop the spread of flames. We start in Cameron Park. Dirk Verdorn shows us how new neighborhoods are being developed with wildfire protection top of mind.
In El Dorado County off Highway 50.
Fire resistant venting that's fire and ember resistant there on the top.
A new kind of neighborhood.
Tempered windows, so 2 layers of tempered glass is what's recommended.
Just the second community ever to receive a wildfire prepared neighborhood designation from the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety.
Have your outside seating area away from your home. Have your pergola, non-combustible material.
Crews from CAL FIRE showed us some of the measures that make the homes so safe.
This is your example of your 5-foot non-combustible transition from your fence material to your structure.
They're meant to withstand high-intensity fires, protecting families and potentially saving them money.
When we can change the outcome for homes, then we can start having a big impact on insurance availability.
Steve Hawks from IBHS says having a designation like this can bridge a gap for homeowners to have conversations with insurers.
They want to write insurance in wildfire-prone areas, but they want to do it with homeowners that have taken the right mitigation measures.
Important changes that could make all the difference if a fire starts to spread.
First and foremost, it's about protecting the home from the wildfire itself, giving the home the best chance of surviving even the most intense wildfires.
Dirk Verdorn, KCRA 3 News.
And a bright light here, home hardening just got cheaper for those who live in Colfax. As part of a grant program from FEMA, the city is covering, get this, 90% of home hardening cost. Now here's how it works. The city as a contractor come out to visit the home. They'll do an inspection and recommend changes, and then they decide on a plan together for how to protect the homes from fires.
It starts with your land clearing, anything that needs to be taken care of, trees, brush, grass, any of that is the first step. Following that, they address the homes themselves. If it needs, the vent covers to keep embers out, if it requires, roofs, windows, siding, things like that. Anything, FEMA has a whole list of items as to what they will allow to be covered under this, but the whole idea is to be able to protect the community just a little bit more.
Now, the city applied for this program because of the river fire, if you remember, back in 2021. Officials say it proved how quickly a fire could threaten this community. Now, they've already had 10 homeowners who are using the funding, and there are no income requirements, and it's open to all homeowners within the city limits.
And in case you need to evacuate, of course, every second matters. That's why having a go bag ready now is so important. KCRA 3's Lisa Gonzalez shows us what to pack inside that go bag.
Joining us now is Battalion Chief Brett Pasqua with CAL FIRE to talk about what to pack in a go bag. This is a go bag that you see right here and why it's so important. So who should have a go bag ready to go at home or in their car?
Yeah, everyone should have a go bag in their home, in their car, just ready to go at a moment's notice.
And this isn't necessarily people who live near a big forest or live in the hills. This is everyone, even people who live in urban areas?
That's right. Like we saw in the January fires in Los Angeles, fire reached homes that they thought would never get that far, And
as someone who has had to pack in an emergency when we were being evacuated, you think that you're going to be able to remember all these things, but you literally can't think clearly. One, because you're probably thinking about your kids and your pets
right.
and all that. So it's really something you want to do in advance.
That's right, because like you said, your head's just spinning during that emergency. So this is like buying yourself that valuable time to get you and your family out safely.
What should be in your go bag?
Yeah, so the basics. water, food, clothing, a first aid kit, a portable radio.
That's what this little thing is. Did you get this on Amazon or?
That's right. You can find those on Amazon. Toiletries, medications, and don't forget your pets too. Their food, leashes, things like that as well.
So we've got toilet paper in here. I think this is really smart. You've got some of these cords,
phone
the USB
chargers,
connectors,
yes,
the chargers, something to light something, a little bit of canned food, you know, sanitary napkins. You need tampons, pads, diapers, whatever you need, and of course blankets and a good hoodie, something that's going to keep you warm because you never know where you're going to be sleeping, right?
That's right. Something to keep you warm, and you want to try and pack food, water for at least 72 hours, 3 days worth.
Okay, you've also got some batteries in here, and what's this here? Oh, we've got a emergency poncho,
emergency blanket,
and then you've got your toiletries. I like that I have a duffel bag, but I actually like this a little better. Is this on wheels?
It's nice. It's not on wheels, but you can carry it like a backpack, and it's waterproof. So really nice. Can find this on Amazon as well.
That's important. Waterproof, able to carry it like a backpack.
Right.
Those two
quickly.
things. And why is this so important?
Yeah. So during the time of evacuation, you don't want to be running around looking for these things during that time because, as you know, there's a lot of other things you got to think about. So if this can be an easy grab and go during the evacuation time, that's just buying you extra seconds, extra minutes that are so valuable in getting your family out safely.
I would say also if you have a cat or you have a pet, that pet carrier, keep this near the pet carrier.
That's right. That's right. Everything.
That's what I learned.
Everything really accessible and easy to grab.
All right, yes. Brent, thank you so much.
You're
from
welcome.
CAL FIRE. We appreciate your time.
All right, they went over a lot there. We have a full list of everything you should pack in your go bag posted right now on the KCRA 3 app. That includes things you might not think about, like a can opener, in case you need to open canned goods, plus how you should plan to pack water. That's posted right now on the KCRA 3 app.
To Placer County now, which is being recognized for the state for its progress in wildfire prevention. Meteorologist Ophelia Young shows us how it could help save homeowners money.
It was 4 years ago the mosquito fire burned through Placer and El Dorado counties, leaving this burn scar and reminders of how quickly fires can move in this land.
We want to protect our communities, our residents, our infrastructure, including our water.
Now Placer County is being recognized by the State Board of Forestry as a fire risk reduction community.
It's really important because it shows the effort of the county in planning and going above and beyond what California requires.
That means the county has put in a lot of work for wildfire prevention and planning, and it means homeowners could save money.
As far as the Safer for Wildfire initiative with the Department of Insurance, it gives the opportunity for landowners to seek some kind of discount with their insurance company.
It also makes it easier for the county to get money from the state.
It allows us to be more competitive when we are seeking grant funds through CAL FIRE to do some of the fuels reduction work.
Vital projects that could protect properties if a fire starts nearby.
When there is a wildfire, knowing that you've created that defensible space, that you have hardened your home, that you have removed materials that are going to make your space more vulnerable.
For KCRA 3 News, I'm Ophelia Young.
Now, the county says homeowners and business owners can call their insurance provider and mention this to see how it applies to their policy. They say the discount amounts could vary based on the insurance company and the property.
Any wildfire can become a threat to life and property, but Northern California's most destructive fires can also alter our snowpack and disrupt our water supply. So I spoke with scientists working to learn more, and the water managers who want to put that insight into action.
The year is 2050. The Sacramento region's 100-degree days have doubled. Droughts are longer.
When we do receive precipitation, it will be more extreme.
Snowpack has decreased by up to 60%.
In the past, we've relied on the snowpack to melt throughout the year.
Wildfires are happening 17% more frequently.
What scares me about that number is we are already being challenged with how to mitigate wildfire risk.
According to research by the Regional Water Authority and the Department of Water Resources, this is what climate change could look like in the American River Basin in the not-so-distant future. The agency's set to work making a plan to lessen those impacts.
Our challenge today is to outrun the impacts of climate change.
A big piece of future climate solutions starts here, tending to the forests that mark the headwaters of the American River.
We're reducing tree densities from over 500 trees an acre down to just below 200 trees an acre.
Placer County Water Agency has spent the last 10 years reducing overgrowth in French Meadows, with the goal of avoiding a problematic high-intensity fire.
The fires do more than just burn the trees. They actually burn the hillsides, the soil,
affecting runoff rates, water quality, even the snowpack. The 2022 mosquito fire did just that in Placer County, possibly permanently changing the forest ecosystem and the way the watershed's runoff moves into reservoirs. Scientists recently studied the 2021 Caldor fire to look for changes in the snowpack the following year.
Most of the areas that burned had a statistically significant decrease in snow cover.
Because snow would pile up faster without trees to block it, but then melt faster without shade to protect it.
I think the timing is the most significant difference, and this is important for water resources because we care not only about the amount but also when it's going to be released.
Because if the snowpack melts earlier, runoff won't be there to top off reservoirs during peak demand in the summer.
You know, it's a challenge that water managers are really going to have to take head on.
One that Placer County says it's got a head start on.
We're achieving what most people want to think of as a healthy forest, and it's taken 10 years, it's taken a long time, but we're getting it done.
And of course, fires and snow were just two of the climate impacts covered in the Watershed Resilience Plan. We've got a link to the entire executive summary posted now on the KCRA app.
Coming up, a look behind the scenes at how crews fight wildfires from above. Dirk Verdoorn takes a look inside CAL FIRE's aircraft to see how they drop retardant and much more.
Welcome back to our KCRA 3 Wildfire Ready special.
Continuing our coverage of how CAL FIRE is attacking these fires from the air, meteorologist Dirk Verdoorn shows us some of their vital tools.
In part one of our story, we took a look at 3 CAL FIRE aircraft used to help put out wildfires in Northern California. The UH-1H Super Huey helicopter, the Sikorsky S-70I CAL FIREHAWK, and the Grumman S-2 air tanker.
Now let's talk about the unsung heroes of CAL FIRE aviation, the tactical aircraft.
We start with the North American Rockwell OV-10 Bronco.
You can see from this aircraft itself that there's a lot of visibility out of here. So this aircraft will have a air tactical group supervisor in the back seat.
So that's back here. So this is where they try to get in?
Yeah, that's where they climb in.
Okay, let's see here.
How do you do this, right?
Okay.
The pilot and the tactical group supervisor can spend over 4 hours in the air providing command and control over the incident.
So this is the King Air 200, and this is another tactical aircraft, but this is also a trainer, you were saying.
Yes. So when we train our air tactical group supervisors for the OV-10, there's obviously only 2 seats in the OV-10, so there's not enough room for everybody. So this is the aircraft that we'll use for that.
Now the other one that was here, it had a different configuration.
Yes, so that one has cameras on it. So that's our Intel aircraft. That aircraft can go up first thing. It can map, it can pick out hot spots, it can pick out things that we can't see with the naked eye. It can send that intelligence to us, so as soon as we do fly, we know exactly where we need to send the resources.
So just another integral piece of the puzzle.
The final piece to the CAL FIRE aviation fleet is the Lockheed Martin C-130 air tanker.
So here we are in the belly of the C-130, and it's gone through a process. It's gone from a cargo plane now to an air tanker. And so that process includes this. What do we have here?
That is the tank. That's the upper tank, the retardant tank. But before we can put that tank in, the aircraft has to go through a series of steps. The first step is we have to remove what we're not going to need for weight reduction. So it goes through that process, and then after that, they cut a hole in the belly of the aircraft. There is a lower tank that sits underneath the floor here, and then this tank is set on top of it.
The C-130 can hold 4,000 gallons of retardant, which can be filled from 2 ports on the outside of the plane. Next, we moved up into the cockpit to see the cruise environment.
So I'm just curious, out of all these buttons, which was the one that drops?
Which is the drop button. It's on the handle, and you can see we've got like manual buttons, right, where we can move, and levers, and then you can see the screens. You see the screens? So those screens are tied to the retardant delivery system.
And drop it does. As the largest of the CAL FIRE aircraft, it is called in to lay down an impressive line of retardant to slow down the growth of some of the largest wildfires. With around 70 fixed and rotary wing aircraft, CAL FIRE operates the largest aerial firefighting fleet in the world. And with that fleet, they respond to thousands of wildfires in California annually, with one mission in mind: to keep all of us safe. Dirk Verdorn, KCRA 3 News.
PG&E continues its efforts to help prevent wildfires. This year, its helicopter program is expanding to these 6 counties listed on your screen. Under the program, local fire agencies can direct the helicopters to help fight fires. The program launched 3 years ago in Marin County. So far, they've already helped with 2,600 water drops. Back to Tamara now with a check on our fire threat index.
This is the Fire Threat Index, and a couple of years ago, as a weather team, we developed this to give you a good indicator of what you can expect in terms of the fire threat on a daily basis. It's actually divided into 4 separate groups, with the valley, the first one that you'll see when you go to our website. We also have the foothills, the Sierra, and the coastal hills. Now, as a weather team, on a daily basis, we look at 3 different threshold factors when it comes to determining what the fire threat is for the day ahead. So take, for example, that first factor we look at, it's going to be the fuel moisture. And you can see we go from anywhere from moist to dry. And typically, as we get into late spring and summer season, and really into the early start of fall, the fuel moisture you can guarantee is pretty much going to be dry. Now, the wind, that's going to fluctuate on a daily basis, going anywhere from light to strong, and humidity is also going to be fluctuating on a daily basis as well. If we have a humid or tropical system over us, that can generate some higher humidity, but at many times, especially if we get a dry north wind, humidity can be very low. The other thing to keep in mind is that when you do see the threshold there, moderate to high in terms of the fire threat index, there are a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. And on any of those given days, or even just throughout a fire season, which we know here in NorCal can be all year long, you don't want to drag any chains. I know for a lot of folks who like to get out and take the camper out or have a flatbed, make sure that you're not dragging chains on the pavement. That could trigger a spark. You don't want to park on any grass, especially dry grass this time of year. Also, don't mow, especially if you know that it's going to be a windy or hot day in the forecast. Just don't mow the lawn. Also, avoid power tools such as welding, things like that. You don't want it near dry vegetation. And of course, if you see any fires or smoke emitted, the best way to get in the information is to report them by calling 911.
Keeping a close eye on fuel during fire season, researchers take us along as they test vegetation, how that helps them monitor risk during our dry months.
In an effort to better detect wildfires, one California company launched reinforcements to space. The nonprofit Earth Fire Alliance launched 3 satellites from Vandenberg Space Force Base. It's the first step in a program that could grow into a 50-satellite network covering the globe. The satellites will collect images of fires and conditions on the ground every 20 minutes. That'll help firefighters better understand what they're up against.
These satellites will be much higher resolution, which will allow us to see the fire front shape and how it evolves, how it's burning through the forest and into communities at a much higher resolution.
And supporters say the satellites will not only help firefighters, but also help researchers and the community better prepare for wildfires.
Wildfires in California, they're always going to be a risk because vegetation becomes fuel in the summer and the fall. Scientists at San Jose State showed me how they measure risk based on that fuel and which areas they're most concerned about as we get closer to fall.
Keep a listen for rattlesnakes.
It's fuel sampling day in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
We've been doing these sites for over 10 years.
This group from San Jose State University comes here twice a month.
So today, there's multiple teams around the western U.S. that are sampling.
The goal? Track the risk for wildfires in real time.
When you think of what's burning here in the area, this is all chamise.
New growth is clipped and canned.
Let's see. Okay, you're getting there.
Then taken back to a lab for analysis.
So we dry it in an oven, and so we dry out all the water, we evaporate all the water, and then we're just left with the plant material.
The difference in weight tells how moist or dry the vegetation is at that point in time. This is critical information for tracking and modeling wildfire risk.
When fuels are extremely dry, higher risk. When they're wet, lower risk.
Dr. Craig Clements is the director of the university's Wildfire Interdisciplinary Research Center. The group's work spans everything from chasing the West's most intense wildfires to the connection between climate change and fire fuels.
We're getting drier and drier by the decade. That's not good. That means that the warming and climate change is impacting the plants, the shrubs, the chaparral, and so it's getting more dangerous.
Every year, Clements is asked about the upcoming fire season, and every year, his answer is the same.
What I can say is that, well, the fuels are drying right now, and it could be bad, but it's day-to-day weather that drives the fire danger.
But the weather this past winter does point to a potential danger zone.
The lack of the snowpack in the middle elevation of the Sierra, I think, is more concerning because there is less soil moisture. So the fuel moistures are going to drop sooner, they already have, and that is going to be probably an elevation that we need to be worried about.
But even then, it's the day-to-day weather and human activity that will determine whether a fire will start.
We won't know what happens, what will happen or what could happen in August until we get a few weeks out from there.
Clements and wildfire scientists around the world agree on one big way to reduce that risk for everyone in California.
Doing prescribed fire across the state, reducing the fuel loads, because that's the big risk.
And Clements told me that as AI improves, it could be used to provide a much more detailed look at fuel moisture and fire risk conditions across all of California's microclimates. But for now, he and dozens of other teams will continue making those in-person measurements year-round.
Pretty fascinating stuff there. We have much more on the KCRA 3 Wildfire Guide, including how to sign up for those emergency alerts and how to track fires near you.
Thank you for joining us.